Greetings, grasshoppers. Good morning. This is your RJ. Welcome to the Bot Signal. Today, we're going to talk about trust. Listen, people need to trust us. It's absolutely the center of the target. And most people, how they refer to this is know, like, trust. All right. And I get that. That's kind of the stages of a brand new relationship, particularly one in which there might be a transaction happening. Know, like, trust. Because, hey, if you don't like somebody, then you're probably not going to trust them. I get it. And then if you don't know somebody, you're probably not going to trust them. But I would rather think of know, like, trust backwards. I would rather think about trust first. Listen, know and like are going to happen if they're going to happen. That's just the way that it is, my friends. And that's fine. I mean, that's just fine where it sits. But I would rather think about trust first, foremost, and all the time. Now, how do we develop trust? How do we develop trust with our pre-clients? How do we do that in engagement marketing? Actually, it's a little bit easier with engagement marketing. Developing trust is easier with engagement marketing than it is with a lot of the traditional way that marketing is done. Let me tell you why, because I know you're here for that. The reason why is because in engagement marketing, particularly if you're using some of the more quick response stuff, like the bots, or maybe the video stuff, if you're using those tools, then what you're going to do is you'll establish trust more quickly because people can ask a question and get a good answer on the spot without you having to be there physically providing it. Let me say that again. They can get answers to questions on the spot without you having to physically provide that. That is a form of value. We think of providing value a lot, and we think of what's the freebie that I have? What's the freebie? What's the top 10 ways to digital world domination I'm providing? And we think of that as the sole way that we can provide value. It's not. It's not. When people can ask a question and get a valid answer that is valuable to them, if they can make a decision to be in or to be out, quickly, way before anything else happens, that is also value. You also look like a rock star. If you're able to produce answers to questions right away, here's the thing. A lot of times, people, they want to buy our services, they want to engage with us, but they don't want to look dumb or bother people to get an answer. And so a lot of times, questions remain unanswered. Questions remain unasked because people don't want to look dumb. Listen, I have worked with a lot of entrepreneurs over the years. A lot. Like, if I had to count them up, it would take me a long time. No entrepreneur that I have ever met wants to put their ignorance out there. And I don't say ignorance like it's a bad thing. I say, listen, if you just don't know what you don't know, that's a thing that a lot of people go through. There's so much to know about entrepreneurship. Technology is a crazy field with new things happening and popping up all the time. How would you know everything? But people expect themselves to either know it or they just keep quiet. Nobody wants to look like they don't know the answer. A long time ago, I used to work with entrepreneurs on learning some basic computer skills. Gosh, a friend of mine reminded me of this just this morning. Used to work with people a lot, and one thing that I noticed and that came up all the time was the fact that I would explain something. I'd go through the steps, and I'd look at the small business owner, and I'd say, "Do you understand that?" And I could see on their face that they didn't, but they didn't want to tell me. And so what they would always say is, "Yep, I got it. I got it. You betcha." Or, "I'll figure it out." Listen, I'm here to help you figure it out. And I'm not going to judge you if you don't know. But that's entrepreneurs, we are we are a crazy people. We are people that get on a roller coaster ride of crazy stuff happening in our lives. Stuff coming in, stuff making our business hugely viable, and oh my gosh, everybody knows about you, to days where it just seems like you're not really sure how you're going to pay your people. We go from one extreme to the other all the time. It's how we are. It's how we roll, okay? And we have to have a certain amount of confidence to do that. We've got to have a certain amount of chutzpah to make that happen. You know what I'm saying? Little grit is what I'm saying. We've got to have a certain amount of confidence to ride that roller coaster. And we don't ever want to appear like we don't know to people. That's just one thing that among all of the entrepreneurs that I have ever worked with, that's just the thing. We don't want to say we don't know. We don't want to say we don't understand. So, questions get unasked. They go unasked. They don't want to bother us, and then something else shiny happens, or something big happens, and they go, "I'm going to deal with that later because I got this thing in front of me right now." Answer their questions, all of them, when they're in front of the website. Do this. It will establish trust. You have been there when you said you were going to be there. You have answered the question. Now, what if you can't answer the question? What if you're working with a bot and you've got a message that comes up, you've got a question that comes up that the bot doesn't know the answer to? If that happens, I program my bots to say, "Oh, hey, listen, I don't have the answer to that one. I'll come back to you. I'll have RJ email you within, a certain amount of time," or whatever. That also builds trust. And it might even build more trust. Because you've said, "Oh, you know what? I don't have that right here, but I'm going to find you an answer. I'm going to get a real life human on here." That's impressive. That's cool stuff. When people are just shopping you, when people are just looking at your homepage and looking around, that's the time. That's the time to jump in and help. That's the time. If you can do that right off, you establish trust right off because you've done what you said you're going to do. That is so important in this world, my friends, doing things that you say you're going to do. It's more important than most things that we do. If you're there when you say you're going to be there, if you do what you say you're going to do. And to some people are shaking their heads right now. They're like, "Yeah, of course you need to do what you say you're going to do." But we don't always accomplish this in the entrepreneurship world. We certainly don't accomplish it in traditional marketing. It's just because it's based on get more people in, get more people into your funnel, just get more people in there. Don't care who they are, don't care if they're qualified to work with you, just get more people in. That's not what we do in engagement marketing. It's just not what we do. We can't do that because we'll fail. We'll fail. Building trust, doing what you say you're going to do when you're going to do it. Now, here's a part where a lot of entrepreneurs, especially, I've noticed this amongst a lot of coaches, is that they will promise, some services or some programs, and maybe they'll promise a little bit too much and not be able to get back to that person when they say they would, or, something like that. I get it. I've done it. Come on, we've all done this. We've all done this. And then we apologize to that person, and we reestablish the connection, and we kind of move on with that. What if you could set all that follow-up to just be automatic? Right? Wouldn't that be a huge win? It would. If we could set all of that stuff to just be automatic and be there for us, because we know people are going to need follow up. We know people are going to need reminded of stuff. We know all of these things, and yet we have such a problem being able to fulfill some of that stuff. So today I want to ask you to really think about trust. How are you establishing that within the first time people connect with you, even if you're not there, even if it's just on your website answering questions? There are so many ways that you can build trust with engagement marketing, because it's an invitation to a two-way interaction. Once you've got that connection established, if you are who you say you are, then people start trusting you right off. You can't really get anywhere without trust. That's really what I want to tell you today. You can't get anywhere with somebody unless they do trust you. What I do is I just try to open that door a little bit. A little bit. If you can answer those questions, if you can be Johnny or Jane or whoever on the spot with the answers to what they're looking for, that, my friends, is so much easier to deal with. It is so much easier to establish that trust. Other ways that you can do this: you can not use clickbait headlines. Here's the deal. Clickbait headlines are over. They're just over. Now you got to put a hook in there. You got to give them a reason to want to watch you or listen to you or read that article. You do. But if you say something in your headline and your article, your podcast, your live stream doesn't back it up at all, and you just said that to get people there, people find that stuff out and people stop watching, and they recommend that other people don't watch you. They do. I've seen it happen with people. It's like, why would you promise me one thing and then get me here, and then now nothing's provided along those lines? I know you don't use clickbait headlines anyway. I know. But think about establishing trust just through your headlines, just through your titles. You can do this. You can pass on some knowledge. You can make it look attractive to people without using, hyperbole. Everybody, that's your word for the week: hyperbole. You're welcome. Anyway, without using hyperbole, without, stressing stuff out to the max, without being a used car salesman. No offense to any used car salesmen out there. I'm sure that you're wonderful people. I've known some bad ones, though. Without being all salesy about it, you can establish trust right away by saying, what's the title of your, show, article, podcast, and then having that stuff be about that. Delivering the value you said you would deliver. It's harder these days, I think, sometimes, to trust online. We've been jaded. We've had some bad experiences. We all have. Be the one that provides extra. Be the one that goes the extra mile for their people. You can do this in an automated way that makes your people feel awesome, feel cared about, feel heard, feel seen. You can do that. You could do it in many, many ways. I'm here to tell you that it's a beautiful thing when all of these concepts work together for engagement marketing. So, bit of a short show today, but just wanted to talk about trust. And I wanted to say this: maybe we've got know, like, trust backwards. Maybe what we ought to think about is trust, trust, trust. Gonna leave you with that thought today. Thanks for coming to watch my show. You know what? You guys are the best. You are. I love my fans. And if there's anything I can provide to you, you know, you can get a hold of me real quick. So that's it for today, my friends. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in a bot.